About 1 in 3 Americans between 18 and 34 years old live with their parents. And while you may have heard more about this recently, this trend isn't new.
Between 2005 and 2015, the share just grew very steeply over this 10-year period. Since then, it's been fairly stable. There was an uptick, of course, during the pandemic. In the wake of the pandemic, those rates of parental co-residence are now about where they were right before. Part of the reason we see this escalation of young adults not leaving the nest or returning to the nest is this idea that it was harder and harder for them to weather shocks.
Nearly 30% of Gen Z said they would like to save, but don't make enough money. And
Okay, before I even start breaking this down, I want y'all to hop in the comments and let me know how y'all feel about more young adults staying at home with their parents. Now, if you were to ask me this 5 years ago, right, when I was still in undergrad, I'm 24 years old right now. I graduated college when I was 22 in the spring of 2023. If you were to ask me this while I was in college, my answer would be drastically different from what it is now, right? Which I recorded a video not too long ago about Gen Z's Gen Z's unrealistic financial expectations, which my point here aids to my sentiment in that video, which was that the number for financial success that Gen Z had was skewed really badly because a lot of Gen Z is still young. They're still naive. I was in that boat 2 years ago before I really got out and started living adult life. Had you would have asked me in undergrad, I would have said, if you 25, 26, 27, and you still living at home with your parents, you creeping up into like loser territory for real. Now that I'm a little bit older, I got a little bit more wisdom on me. My answer has changed. It's actually the complete opposite. I made a complete 180. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that if your situation allows for it, being whatever job you have, your relationship with your parents, if your situation allows for it, you should stay at home as long as you possibly can, and as long as you are comfortable staying at home, and as long as your parents are comfortable staying at home, because of how volatile the job market is and how volatile the economy currently is. It is not sweet out here, y'all. I find myself saying this almost every video, but let social media tell the story. Everybody getting a bag. Everybody got the latest shoes. Everybody got the latest cars. Everybody going on the most extravagant trips. But me and you know, statistically, 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account. Can't comfortably cover a $1,000 emergency if it were to happen to them tomorrow. The average American is carrying about $60,000 worth of debt total, and the average combined household income in the United States of America is just under $60,000. This is like $59,000 and some change. I say all of this to say, when it comes to you and your individual financial situation, you cannot allow people outside unwarranted opinions that come from people that's not even putting no money in your pocket or doing anything to help you. You cannot allow that to get you in a state of emotion and making decisions based off of how you feel when it comes to your pocketbook. If you are in a position where you can stay home, where your parents are cool with you staying home, and you know good and well that if you was to leave, you would be under some kind of financial stress, whether it would be, I would be struggling to, put up an emergency fund, or, I'm trying to hit said amount of money invested in the S&P 500 by age 30, or I'm trying to get out and just go ahead and buy a house, go ahead and purchase a home, and I'm trying to put 20% down on the home so that I can avoid PMI or avoid whatever it is that defines your situation. You need to worry about you and your situation, your finances, and make the best decision for you logically. Not based on any emotions, not based on, I want to get out here dating and I need somebody or I need a place to be able to take somebody home to. Bruh, forget that, because to be honest with you, like, if somebody is really rocking with you, they'll accept you regardless of your circumstances if they know that what you're doing is conducive to your own growth. Now, the flip side of this argument, the reality, I guess, that we have to address is that there's a lot of people, myself included, who are not really in a position or don't have the relationship with their parents to even be able to stay home. Now, in those cases, I mean, what I'm going to recommend is that you just keep your expenses as low as humanly possible, and you really have to be on top of your budget. If I was to speak to my personal circumstance, I'm in a position where my job just provides me with free housing. So I still kind of get the same effect, I guess, as somebody who would be living at home with their parents, you know, paying reduced rent or just living there for free if that's what your parents are allowing. But from my situation, I can't necessarily recommend that to the average American, because having a live-in arrangement at your job is such a rare occurrence that the most, I guess, replicatable, if that's a word, the most easy way to replicate my situation, and I'm only using myself as an example because I can speak to it because I feel the weight of having no bills. Like it significantly has accelerated all of my financial goals. The easiest way for the average person to obtain that kind of effect in their own life is to stay at home.
Roughly 2 in 5 millennials and Gen Z adults feel it's harder to build financial wealth now than when their parents were their age.
Do y'all feel like there's some validity to that? Do y'all think that there's some validity to that? That for millennials and Gen Zs, it's significantly harder to build financial wealth. I think it just depends. It depends on who you ask. I mean, this is 2 in 5. 2 in 5 feel that it's harder for us now. I made a comment in a couple of videos ago. I don't even remember what video it was, but there was a guy that said we have less opportunity. I don't believe that we have less opportunity. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I believe that now that, you know, we have the internet, right? All of, you know, Gen X and all of our predecessors, all they knew was what was right in front of them. We now have infinite knowledge and access to anything that we want to learn about anything. You're a Google search away from figuring out the steps that you need to become whatever it is you want to become in your life, from getting educated on whatever it is. So although it's more difficult for us now, it's not necessarily more complicated and we don't have less opportunity. That's just my opinion. Let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments.
Because of the economy. 27-year-old Victoria Franklin has been living with her mother in New Jersey since she graduated college in 2019.
I saw all of the money that I was saving.
Not necessarily anything wrong with that, honestly.
I should stay home for a little bit, and I didn't feel an urgency to move out.
Not everyone is enthusiastic about this trend.
You guys are making 6 figures together. You can't tell me you can't afford a house. They just don't want to spend their money.
Told ya.
Hold on. Hold on, because I didn't take a look at this entire video beforehand. I only watched like the first 20-30 seconds to make sure it was something worth bringing to you guys. She's talking about together. You can't tell me you can't afford a house. If she's staying in here with her spouse, okay. Staying, this changes it. All right, this changes it. I have a difference of opinion. Staying at your parents' house with your spouse. Now, there is always an exception if, you know, you falling on hard times. And I mean, hey, it seemed like the mom kind of don't want them there, but she's just letting them stay there, you know, just because like that's what they got to do, or that's what they feel like they have to do. If you're in a position where you moving out of your parents' house will take some weight off of them, will take a little bit of a burden off of them, and they really don't want you to be there for real, just move out your people's house. Don't try to, you know, force your way into your people's house. Staying with a spouse, I personally think that's kind of wild, because again, the average combined household income in the United States of America is about $60,000 a year. It's a little bit under $60,000 a year. Now, they are, I believe, in New Jersey, something like that, New York or New Jersey. They're somewhere where it's a little bit more of an expensive cost of living. However, if her husband or her spouse, whoever she's staying with, is a college graduate as well, I mean, they should have a little bit higher than the average combined household income in the United States of America. But I want to let her rock out because I need a little bit more insight into their financial situation to really be able to diagnose this and give a good opinion on it.
36% of Americans said in a 2022 survey that more young adults living with their parents.
Do y'all agree with this? Let me know down in the comments below. Do y'all agree that more young adults, a little bit higher than one out of three young adults living at home with their parents is quote unquote bad for society? And if you believe so, define bad for society.
Is bad for society. So here's why young Americans are choosing to live with their parents and what the implications are for the U.S. economy.
My name is Victoria Franklin. I am 27 years old, and I live in my childhood home with my mother and my boyfriend.
Victoria graduated.
Yeah, Victoria, I'm not gonna lie, you and your boyfriend are wild. You and your boyfriend are wild, baby girl, for living in your mother's house together when y'all have the ability to just go ahead and combine your finances and get your own place. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think you should be living with nobody unless you're married to them. I don't believe in shacking up without, there being marriage involved. But that belief differs by the person. But regardless, I personally don't agree with staying in your people's house if you living with your boyfriend. You and your boyfriend is there. I'm looking at the guy like what's going on with you. But regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there. I know some of y'all be wanting to watch the videos a little bit longer. We can't watch the videos too long to make sure that we're avoiding copyright strikes on the channel. We don't want to be infringing upon anybody's content, trying to make it seem like we're trying to steal the content. The purpose of the content is always just to spark a deeper conversation here on the channel about the topic. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Do you believe that it is beneficial to stay with your parents as long as possible, or do you believe that people should be getting out the house as soon as possible? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I genuinely want to have a conversation with you guys. I respond to every single comment. So again, drop your thoughts in the comments below.